Good afternoon, everyone. This is Carl with San Diego Concrete Recycle in San Diego County, California. I'd like to introduce you to our workhorses of our business, our two mini jaw crushers. Behind me here, I have a 2009 Complete model 4825. It's a mini jaw crusher. It's designed to crush up your aggregate, asphalt, brick, concrete, and some soft rock into a usable base material. At San Diego Concrete Recycle, we bring the crusher to the job site, eliminating the need for transportation. If you can reuse the base on your job site, we can probably save you money when you pencil it out. But again, pencil it out, make sure we're saving you money because we don't want to crush the aggregate and then have to haul it off afterwards. Better to haul it off at the beginning. So let's start with the machine. The machine's based on a tracked platform, rubber tracks, just like your compact track loaders. Therefore, it reduces damage on your job site and makes it easier to transport. Here we have the control panel, which is the brains of the operation. They are remote controlled. So here's our remote for this model, and our main ignition, all our features, our hour meter, tachometer. I've added gauges to this one so I can monitor the health of the machine while we're operating it. But other than that, it's pretty simplistic. And throttle right here, all your fuses, and that's how you operate the machine from here. So this jaw crusher is powered by a 3-cylinder Isuzu diesel engine. It's very low in noise. It's no more than usually a skid loader or compact track loader. So it fits into your job site nicely. On top here, we have the loading hopper and the loading belt. You dump the concrete in here. This belt is hydraulically driven and then drops it into the jaw here, which one jaw oscillates, one's stationary, and that's what actually does the work and crushes it. As it exits the jaw, then it turns and hits the exit belt. This machine has an adjustable jaw. So this ram right here pushes the bottom of that jaw that we saw earlier, or opens it up, pulls it back to adjust what size output we have based on what your soils engineer has specified. So we can go all the way down to 3/8 minus up to about 1.25 inches minus. So of course here we have our exit belt. Once it comes out of the jaw, it hits the exit belt, which then stacks it up. A lot of people ask me if we can do wire and rebar. Yes, we can, but it slows the process down. And as long as it can make the turn from the jaw to the exit belt, we're usually all good. Now, once in a while, a piece does get stuck and you have to stop and pull it out. But we can do small pieces of wire and rebar in your concrete as long as it's trimmed to the edges so it doesn't poke holes in the belt. So in the event that the concrete gets jammed in the jaw, we have a bar right here. It's just your simple crowbar, wrecking bar to reach down in there. No hands go into this jaw. Very dangerous to put any hands down there, soft tissue, so we don't do that. We use a bar or we stop the operation. Safety is paramount to this. We also have to control the dust, so we use a water hose. We can't operate without dust control. It's part of our CARB permit that we have to control the dust, and it makes it more pleasurable on your job site when you're controlling that dust. So we use water hose to control it, pre-moisten the concrete, moisten it as it goes into the jaw, and then moisten it as it transfers to the exit belt. Okay, here we are at crusher number 2. This one is a 2010 model, 4825, so pretty similar to the other crusher. It's been partially disassembled for preventative maintenance and making sure that everything's ready to go for the next job. But the basic operation, basic construction remains the same. The difference is this one has a different remote than the other one, but still remote controlled and same basic operation. It will do the same job as the other one. We have 2 of them, but this one has the operator platform on the opposite side. So if you're loading off the left side, you stand on the right. The other one has the operator's platform on the left, so you load off the right, depending on the job. The basic premise of these jaw crushers is they have 4 belts that drive a large flywheel that operates the jaw crushing action. The rest of the features on these are all hydraulically driven by a hydraulic pump. So this one has a power takeoff with a fluid coupler that drives 4 belts that spin a big flywheel with a counterbalancer, and that's what makes the jaw oscillate for the crushing action. The belts, the tracks, movement, jaw opening and closing are all hydraulic on this, powered by that same Isuzu 3-cylinder diesel, just over 25 horsepower, and controlled by your remote control. At the back of this crusher, we have our engine, of course, sits in there sideways, transverse, and then belt-driven hydraulic pump. It is a 2-section, so this section drives one track and one belt. This section drives the other track and the other belt. From this side of the crusher, we can see the radiator for the transverse mounted engine. We also have our hydraulic filter up in here. So ease of maintenance for these older crushers. They're pretty easy to work on. Panels are pretty quick to remove. I can probably disassemble one of these crushers in about 2 hours and have the motor out, fix whatever's necessary, and another 2 hours have it all put back together. They're very simple in design. Even the new ones use the same design with some minor upgrades. So we're back at crusher number 1, and over the years, we found out that certain things work better than others. So there were some modifications that were made. The addition of the 3 standard gauges, your water temperature, your oil pressure, and your voltmeter, those were very necessary additions, because before that you just had lights, and over the years they've stopped working due to various reasons. Another upgrade was adding a second hour meter to it. I learned early on that all the fuse panel, if I blow a fuse being exposed to the elements, then my hour meter and my tachometer stop working. So I added a secondary one just for backup. This one also has the remote, will give me problems at times. So I added your standard Jeep Light auxiliary controller. That controls a lot of my hydraulic functions. And there is a Bluetooth feature to my phone to where I can control features of the crusher from my phone to get it back on the trailer, get it loaded, and get it home. In addition to that, this panel is removed and there's bolts so we can operate the hydraulic valves manually if we have an electronic failure. That is something that they have incorporated in the new ones, but back in this model, they didn't have them. So the previous owner had made those modifications and I just kept them. Both machines are very similar in their modifications. Another modification for this one was we extended the hopper to accept the standard skid steer bucket and allow us to load just a little bit more than the standard hopper takes. We're back here at crusher number 2. This one was modified by multiple owners prior to me receiving it, but this one has levers for the tracks and levers for belt operation. So there are manual levers and they use linkages instead of just the bolts to the hydraulic control valves. This one also has the same gauges. This one also has the secondary hour meter, just in case you blow a fuse. Well, that's it for today. Thanks for joining us and doing a walk around the crushers. If we can ever help you with any of your projects in the future, please let us know, reach out. We can talk about it and see if it's beneficial or not. And hope to see you out there on the job site somewhere.